Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find itself in America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One, and tonight, with all the hoopla that's been going on over the last 24 hours, and this is what I'm saying. This is how we're controlled by outside forces. Anything they put up, we jump on. But we want to take another look at it to show you how other people think of you. Look at you when you got all this money and you got all this stuff that you say you got, and the dumb shit that we do, we always doing stuff to ourselves. So we want to get into this clip and show you about last night and watch how other people seem like they're the victims. Oh, if I would have did that. No, you never the victim of anything. So these are the positions that the traitors put us in. I'd like to say hello to everybody. Indigenous Cotton Picker, Hawkeye, Jamil, how's everybody doing tonight? We just want to show you how these traitors, how they are a large, huge influence on us. Check this out.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Truly the most atrocious thing Will Smith has done since the Aladdin remake. This guy learned nothing at all after spending all that time with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air. On the positive side, however, Smith's physical assault of Chris Rock completely overshadowed and drowned out all of the virtue signaling that came before it. All this like LGBT stuff, they had all the Ukraine stuff, and like all that's out the window. The celebrities in attendance wanted the story to be about them heroically chanting the word gay, wearing blue ribbons in support of Ukraine. They didn't want this to be the story. That's also why you shouldn't buy into any conspiracy theories that the incident was staged. Okay, it was not. That's a more absurd idea than the incident itself was. Now, maybe the VMAs circa 1997 may have staged something like this, but not the woke Oscars of 2022. This is entirely real. And we should admit the most entertaining thing that's happened at any award show in at least 25 years. Personally, I might actually start watching these things if the whole show is just a bunch of celebrities beating the hell out of each other on stage, like a really well-dressed version of Celebrity Deathmatch. But as fun as it may be to watch, that was nonetheless a physical assault which was committed on national television in front of literally dozens of viewers. Something tells me that if you or I had walked onto stage during an event of that kind, or any other kind, and committed assault against a presenter right in front of everybody, we'd be in handcuffs within 15 seconds. Instead, Will Smith sat back down, enjoyed the rest of the show, even won Best Actor later in the evening.
So, I don't want to belabor the point of all that happening last night, but joining me tonight to break this whole thing down, the traitors in the community, is the Accomack princess, Lisa Cypress. How you doing, Lisa? Your voice, you muted.
Hello, Alito, Sayo, and Kayuk for the Accomack. And hello to the baddest, best chat in the land. And thank you for having me, Carrie. Thank you for having me back, and I appreciate it. Oh shoot, I don't know if I'm here anymore. Hold on.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So anyway, basically, that clip, fair use, was used because I didn't even want to deal with this whole awards night situation. But then we were talking, and we discussed the fact that it's really more then it's, first of all, it's not real at all. And the fact that he said it's definitely real, I'm like, first of all, how can you even say that? You don't know that. See, that's how people. That's how these white people talk. They feel like they're the experts of everything, and if they say it, then it's got to be true, right? It's undeniably real. And for these conspiracy theorists, why would you even mention that? For you think it's real, you think it's real, but you gotta act like there's no way it's a conspiracy. No way they staged that. Of course they staged it. That could have been edited out. Nobody had to see that. And you wouldn't stand there and wait for somebody to come raise their hand and hit you and stand in place. And if you're his wife and you're you're so zen and you trying to get your therapy on and you got a red table show, you wouldn't let your man get up. That's not, it does nothing is actually matching what they tried to display that they are like, talking it out and being and being open and da 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 da. All of a sudden they're out there slugging it in the streets. These people have been married for a long time. These people are almost 60 years old. That's not something you just start doing out of blue. He can cry on cue. He gets paid for that. So this is what we have going on here. We have people that are trying to do that are doing messianic, satanic, these energy generated shame exercises. That's what they're doing. And they're doing it because they want us to be talking about us. They want us to feel a certain way. Our energy is better than money. Our energy is fuel. Our energy fuels the world. So when they can, they especially feed off of um, our daggone negative energy when we're feeling depressed, stressed, scared, fear, humiliation. This is a messianic, satanic energy that's generated by the African American. The shame that's generated by the energy that's generated by our shame is valuable. This is a humiliation ritual. And it's not because they wanted to humiliate Chris Rock. No. When you look all over the Twitter world, look all over the YouTube, look all over the Facebook, it's us. We feel some kind of way that this happened. Oh, why did Jada let him do that? Ooh, why he doing that for Jada? Ooh, why Chris Rock do that, say that? Ooh, why, all this emotion that we're expressing, and they're loving it. And look at that that man with his attitude, sitting up there, that white dude with his attitude, like he's better than us, and he's gonna talk about what a criminal act this is, and how dare he get away with it when they get away with everything. The authority. But not only does he have the audacity to be so judgmental and so better than thou and looking down upon the Negroes sitting up there doing that on stage and acting like it's definitely real, which is not. It's not real. It's absolutely not real. Why do we care? Why do we care what they see and what they think? Not only do they believe the hype that they're all that, we believe it too. And that's a problem. Could you squeeze the picture down a little bit so they can see us. Why do we think that they are so great? Well, part of it's subliminal. Part of it's what we've been taught for years by them through religion. Part of it's that God complex. That's the thing that does it. Carrie? Carrie,
Yes, ma'am.
next.
Cool.
You know, we have this thing where we feel like they are just like they're God, you know? Back, back.
I got it.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, right. We think they're God. And why wouldn't we? We see it all over the place in church, and we've been seeing it in movies. And we have this whole thing of, this God thing. And then the thing about it, you want approval, right? You want God to approve of you, right? So you seek approval from an image that looks like that. You also fear judgment. You fear judgment from an image that looks like that. That image, you don't want to be wrong. You don't want that image to think you're wrong. You don't want that image to judge you. And this is in our subconscious. So for some of us that still go to these churches that have these images and still have these images in our home, it's a real strong fixation. And even if you don't have that going on, just go to school. Next. Just go to school. Just go to school and get educated. Or just looking at your money. You don't even got to go to school. Just look at your money. Look at our money. Our founding fathers. Founding. But what's the bigger word? Fathers. Founding fathers. That within itself is a spell on us. And guess what? And I can't even imagine if I was a white person what it would do to me. How much that would make me feel like I'm the shit. The founding fathers look like my uncle, look like my daggone granddaddy. Founding. The fathers of this country. That stuff is toxic. And let me tell you something, indigenous people, we got to take this, we got to dismantle all these words and phrases one by one. As you start getting yourself organized as the people that you really are, we need to stop this. No more using this terminology, founding fathers. It's a fallacy. That whole phrase should be stricken from the books, the textbooks. No more founding fathers. How dare they? They didn't find anything. And to this day, they haven't found anything. They're not supposed to be here. At this actual moment, they have no authority to be here. All their daggone relationship is with the crown. It is not with us. We never have consented to their actually staying here. Establishing anything here has not been with our consent. Period. But this is what we feel. We see a judge. We see Jesus or God. And we feel like these people have authority over us subconsciously. We have to live in a world where that is tucked in our heads, whether we like it or not, whether we say, yeah, no, not me. I've always had a black Jesus in my house, or I always did this, or da 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 da. Yeah, but it's still there. So now we have this thing where we see Chris and Will, and everybody's on the internet feeling some kind of way, like, oh, this is embarrassing. Oh my gosh, they got to go to work. They're talking about it. Why do you care? That whole outcome is what they wanted to get. That is that Illuminati. That is it. That's the outcome. They wanted us to feel shame, mass shame. And that's what, and we gave it to them. Look at OJ. This is so funny. Pictures of funny meme. OJ sitting there grinning. And OJ looking fine as I don't know what. OJ looking good, right? But that is, and I was talking to Carrie. Remember, Carrie, we were talking about how OJ was the one shame, the shame, a shame ritual that didn't work. It backfired.
Everybody cheered for OJ.
Nobody wanted anything to happen to OJ. Nobody felt ashamed of the murder. No one. You really couldn't find people that were ashamed of OJ for being a murderer. That was not ever the energy at that time. And it's so funny because I was like, we OJ, I mean, for people that are younger, OJ wasn't even part of the fabric. Like we knew he didn't like black. He didn't like African Americans. He didn't consider himself an African American. He didn't associate with African Americans except a couple of football friends. He was all about them blondes. He was always about the daggone Beckys. Always.
OJ did have a fine wife, though.
Oh, at first, you're right. The first wife. Yeah, but he dropped her like a hot tamale. He dropped her.
Gotta go get with Becky, baby.
And he was just swimming in a pool of Becky's for the rest of his life. Amen. This is how we acted. This is how we acted when he won. I don't care if you was at work. I don't care whether you was in the post office. I don't care where you were in the store. We was screaming and hollering, telling them about how it was in California.
The city. So when they were coming up to the verdict, because you know how they advertise that stuff. In the city of LA, which is never quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Sitting in the back, not listening to it. The city just erupted. It was like a little mini earthquake had went through the city.
Wow.
This sister on the far right looked like she about to start crip walking, huh?
Right. I'm telling you, that's the way it was. But let's see, Albertha Washington said, anytime I see our people acting ignorant public, it's embarrassing. Why are you embarrassed, Albertha? That's the problem. Why are you embarrassed? Why do you care what white God daddy thinks?
It's a shaming ritual, baby. That's all they do.
We don't need to be ashamed of ourselves. They do the most horrendous things. They have serial killers and mom serial killers and mom killing everything and everybody. And why do we feel this condom? Why are we feeling like we have to measure up? They need to measure up. They got the explaining to do. They got the improvements to make. We need to stop this self-condemnation and this self-shaming. That once we stop feeling shamed, they won't be able to use our emotions.
It's just that simple, y'all. The whole TV period. The whole TV period is there to keep you in that state.
It is really there to keep you in a state. Look at the next one with Will sitting up there fake crying, okay, and the African that's gonna go down. And then the African is going to go down. And then the African is right in the back getting ready to replace us all. That's very telling.
Ooh.
They're done with Will because this thing wasn't really effective. Although a lot of you were shamed. A lot of us, like me, I was like, what the world's ridiculous. It's fake. Fakeness.
You know what? When this cat should have been really shamed. This was nothing. When they find out his wife is humping his son's friends.
But he wasn't ashamed of that. That's what makes this ridiculous. He knows about that in his house. Why would you get mad because when man calls your wife G.I. Jane, which is not an insult, because G.I. Jane's badass. So So why would you get mad at that? But you're not going to get mad when this young child that is your son's friend is in your bed, in your house, doing your wife. It doesn't make any sense, y'all. And why don't we take the time to see if it makes sense before we react, before we buy into it?
Yeah, baby. That African coming for you.
Lord have mercy. She in the rear, honey. She taking up the rear. Now, this is one of the, like internet stuff I got. I wish Jada would have reached out and grabbed Will's arm before he went up on that stage to protect him as well. She never protects him. Now, I will also mention this is a white woman my cousin who's married to a white woman. This is a white woman saying this. She never protects him. You see, we are judged. Come on now. She never protects him. What do you know about their life? Joyce, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have this uncovered. Is it uncovered? Anyway, I meant to cover up the names. I'm sorry, cousins. Anyway, I agree, and then I'm worried too. Let's get off the screen because I'm not trying to expose everybody's opinions. Okay, so we care so much about whatever the pale God judge thinks. Why? We got first thing we got, wait a minute. First thing we got to do is, I'm going to stay on it for a minute. First thing we got to do is realize that it's in us. Like, we make them the gods that they are. Or not. And if we put all our cares into them, that's why we don't have anything left for each other. We don't have any kind of trust in each other. We don't have any kind of like a respect for one another because we see each other in a dim light. We can't walk around being embarrassed if somebody does something that's whatever. Because guess what? They're human and so are these other people, and they do ratchet, horrific things. Why do you care if someone who looks like you does something that's ratchet? So what? Why do you care what they think? And we need to start telling these people, I don't care what you think. My grandson had an incident today. He was playing soccer, and the little white boy said, "You're not the best at soccer." And and he was very upset about this. And I was like, tell these little white boys that their opinion does not matter at all.
Right.
And you're not there for them. You're there to have fun. Besides, you're in a you're in the you're in a gifted program. I doubt these dummies are in a gifted program. See, this is the thing. Why does what a white person say matter? They're white. They are recessive by nature. We don't even understand where they come from. They invade every place and they put out a lot of propaganda that they're the best. And we buy into it.
Eat it up.
What did Pony Lock say? So remember what Chris said after the fake slap? He said something to the effect that this event will be the biggest in television history.
She's right.
Yeah, that's right, Pony. You're right. And right, Sawtooth, they are not organic to the planet. And yeah, we're helping everybody make money. We help everybody make money, Lord. Exactly. We have to keep this all in mind.
No, I like to focus on what you just said. It's about how we look at them as gods.
Right, we do.
When the evidence is shown that all they have done is tore up this planet and all the people around it.
Right.
With the help of some Negroes, of course.
That's the problem. We got all these traitors.
Yeah.
That are helping the agenda. Right?
Do you think do you think them killing us like they were doing, lynching, blah, blah, all kind of things, don't you think they have to change up and have you do it?
Of course they had us do it. I mean, they had us do it then. Half the time, don't you think it was probably one of us? I mean, you see some lynching pictures where you see a Negro standing back around watching too, right? Right? You've seen them.
Yeah.
And why would that Negro be standing there? Probably because he's friends with him. He probably told him, yeah, that nigga's over there at the bar. He's over there in the juke joint. Or you gonna find him over here at so-and-so's house.
Yeah.
We've always had traitors in our midst. The Accomacs had traitors sent over to stay with us. And they're the ones that they're going to told Jamestown that we was, that there was about to be an attack. They sent the traitor to live amongst us.
So let's get into the traitors.
Well, we're never stopping. So it's a shame. They're using our shame. They're using the shame. And that's what they do. They just want to make sure we all feel shamed. And that's part of the game, baby.
Who was that?
That is Shirley and Company. Do you remember that group? Do you remember it's a white man and her? And she did a song called Shame, Shame, Shame. You remember that? Maybe you don't.
Like that disco stuff? Okay, I can know.
Remember that?
Yeah.
All right, boo.
I was hoping to never hear it again, but
well, I made your dream come true, right? Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, so basically, okay. So this is what it is. Look at this. All these white media outlets are loving it, right? They're bigging it up. They're all like co-signing that it's definitely real. And even a comment on the side there says, doesn't Smith feel humiliated? Brokenness must be at the root of her adultery. All these white folks are making all these judgmental statements, just lapping it up. I mean, they're not going to say that about Brad and whatever, and Jennifer or whoever else he's married to, or I don't know who he marries. But anyway, they're not going to do that. But they're going to get all off into this and just trash them and talk about how disgusting it is. This is all to make us feel bad. Then you look at it, you're like, you go to work and you're gonna feel some kind of way. Why? Look at this guy. He's not even a white person. He's a freaking some kind of mixed with something. But they, most of these white people are mixed with something. But yet they stand in their whiteness like it's a badge of righteousness. And we let them. We give that to them. We give them this bad badge of righteousness while we sit up there and stand in shame. And they love it. They get so much out of us feeling that way. And they repeat this ritual over and over again. It's the best thing they do. We where we at now? We on the cash? Let me see. I'm not looking. Yeah, they're making cash. All these people, all these outlets are making cash for humiliating the African American. Yeah, dollars for shame. Dollars for shame. And we feel it deeply. And then they get geeked up because now they can see it on the internet, all these comments that we're making. So it's even more gratifying than when we're sitting at home and they really didn't know what we were thinking, but they could hear it on the radio. Maybe if a radio announcer was talking about it, they could hear it. Maybe if somebody happened to work with you and they bring it up because they just love to hear what the Negro thinks. They just love it. But this is cash. This is money, and it's actual real money because all of the interest that's gone into the story, right? So breaking news, and probably Chris Rock's gonna make money from his show on Friday, and then also the Will Smith and them are gonna make money, and then anything they do, people are gonna watch now. Maybe, I hope not. Don't pay no attention to these people. This fakeness. I really don't want people to pay attention to them because we don't need to be given any more light to this shame ceremony, this shame ritual. And we've had a lot of different things that have caused shame, like recently in the woke community, that polite guy who was molesting his girlfriend's daughter, drugged her, and was raping her and stuff, and brought her home all messed up, brought her to a party that wasn't a party, lied. I don't even know what the world. But this is part that, for certain people in the community, not me, that caused shame. People that actually followed his butt, that caused shame. And a lot of people that's of his background, they feel shame too. We don't need to be giving energy to these shame ceremonies. I think our biggest shame that we've probably experienced has been the next one. The shame ceremony that really got us was the death of Michael in that propofol. And Michael in general, all his little antics that they talked about, the molestation, I didn't say that, but the molestation and he being a propofol thing, Michael has caused us a lot of shame, right? They did a lot of shame things with him. And why do we feel so much about Michael? Why?
Could we not use the word we? Because
you didn't feel nothing for Michael?
Never. No, I mean, he was with the Jackson 5.
Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide.
You know when Michael Jackson was tight.
Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide.
I'm going.
Yeah.
You know when Michael Jackson was bad? When he was with his brothers. When they left.
Right.
When they
there
went.
You go.
When they left.
Michael, but see, you understand in most of our minds, that's the Michael we continue to see. See, even our kids don't understand that. We literally grew up with him. When he was a kid, I was a kid. And there was something about that. So when he was shamed, we collectively did feel shame because we were like, oh my God, I'm not gonna, maybe not you, but I felt like most of us felt like the Jacksons were like cousins. Like we were pretending in our minds like the Jackson 5 was our pretend cousins,
And some of the people in your family would act like the Jackson 5. They would make a group after the Jackson 5.
Of course. We danced, we did it, we sung, we did everything, So, I mean, it was a major part of our culture.
It was a major part of our culture, but like anything else, sometimes you have to yourself recognize what's going on.
We have to understand that these people, they take an oath. They are, talk about slavery. This is high level slavery. Okay. Whatever they do, whatever they want them to do, whatever sacrifice they want them to make, they make it. That's why you see these stars, they got family members that die out the blue. And you're like, what the heck? They off their family members. That's part of a ritual. That was a sacrifice. They sacrificed their family to be on the level that they're at all the time.
But what level was that?
To be superstars.
I mean, but what comes with that? What comes with that? Because most of the people
I don't know. I'm not a superstar.
Okay, well let's look at it from the outside. Those people at all at Oscars, what are they? Drug addicts, the worst people on the planet. And so you're telling me they sign contracts to be that?
Well, like I said, it's not worth it to me. I don't know. I don't want to do what they do like that. However, that's what they want, evidently, because they keep going through it and they stay in that realm. Right? Yeah. I don't understand the boule. I don't understand why they would sell us out on another level. putting all these Africans into our HBCUs and, you know, taking money from all these companies just so they and then keeping the tuition high so your own people can't get into these colleges. I mean, on all kinds of levels, we have these traitors. I don't understand the mind of a traitor.
And don't try. You know, one more thing
No,
about
but no, it's good to kind of look at, to examine them is good, because then you can recognize them when you more easily, right? And that's why we're taking this time to define what it is and how to recognize it, because as indigenous people, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. We can't keep falling for the same traps over and over again. And we have to know that there is this satanic realm of elite people who are actually causing all the misery that we're experiencing in this world. Like, most of the stuff that happens to us ain't even nature at all.
true.
So we need to recognize it when we see it, and not only recognize it. When you recognize it and you understand it, you call it out, because that's how you end it. Once their game is exposed, they can't use it no more. So the more people that understand what they're really doing, the better. You feel me? I don't know if y'all got that. All right. Did it ever occur to you that the Boule are African? I don't think so. I don't know what the Boule are. The Boule are probably Black Europeans. Some of them could be us. Some of them could be Indians. But, you know, a lot of them are Black Europeans. Some of them could be Africans. Yeah, it's a combination of things. But, you know, but people turncoat for whatever reason, you know. Ensign Savage, you know, was a spy that Powhatan sent to live with the Accomacs. He was a spy. He was sent over to Europe to train to be a spy as a little boy. And he came back and he was living amongst King Powhatan and his brother Openchenog, and Openchenog was going to kill him. So Powhatan, he's all warm-hearted. He didn't want his brother to kill him, so he sent him over there to live with us. Thank you. And then he was troublesome for us, so he was a spy that lived amongst us. And then he ended up stealing a whole bunch of our land. We had to take him to court in the 1660s. So yeah, spies come from amongst your people. You know, they come from all different places. I don't know if that, anyway, but I can always relate it back to our history. That's what we do. Anyway, then we had that incident. Are we on the next one? Yeah, the whole titty incident, right? The titty gate. Where and if y'all remember, I don't know why they blurred it out, because she had a tassel on. She had a tassel on. Nobody wears a tassel. People don't wear nipple tassels under their clothes. So it clearly was planned. It clearly was planned. Nobody has a tassel under their garments. And it looks like she had a bra on one side, and I don't even know. But this is the whole thing. I mean, they rehearsed it. Why it was part of the show to rip off anything off her titty anyway, that was just ridiculous. And, you know, it was done as a shame ritual. Oh, everybody was like, oh, why did Janet mess up the daggone Super Bowl? And then in addition to that, it detracted from what was going on with her brother at the time, which was so she got a win-win with that. You know, she did her ritual and she got to daggone take the attention off of her brother being a pedophile. So it was a win situation. But again, with Janet, the same thing is that we have, especially the ones that are older, who have, you know, lived that during that time. You know, we also saw that the next slide. We see Janet like this, and we grew up with her. And so we have a different kind of connection, and it makes us feel a certain kind of way, you know, but they know this. And, you know, they put these people, they know this is a winning formula. So this is what I want you to understand. I didn't include this in the slide, but there are people that they're like Chloe, what's her name? Chloe Bailey. Chloe Bailey, that they and different people that they put in your children and your grandchildren's world right now as young people, as pure and simple young people, and then they make them into these raunchy people. That's how they get you to be raunchy. They know it works with Janet and Michael. It's a formula now. Get a cute little kid, put them in the children's programming, get the kids attached to them, and then turn them into a demonic whore. It's a formula. So now Chloe Bailey's doing all this demonic stuff in her videos, but your kids probably watched her as a as a younger kid, or your grandkids. It's a formula. Understand there's a formula to get us to partake in these rituals and this idolization. We're idolizing these people, and we shouldn't.
Walona was fine, wasn't she?
Yeah, Walona was a pretty woman. She's a Du Bois. She might be related to the Du Bois. Du Bois.
Right.
And she probably is, because a lot of these people are connected. Bloodlines are a part of why they're able to rise up to the level that they are.
Right.
They are boule by blood. Trust that. All right, now what about Mike Tyson? Oh, yes. Well, I love me some fights with Mike Tyson, right? And that whole situation where he raped that girl. First of all, the fact that they had him at a beauty contest was a setup. Because I saw Mike the month before that at the Apollo. And Mike was being a pure T-dog on stage. He was touching the models, saying nasty things to the models, propositioning them on stage. The whole audience, we booed him while he was on stage. Mike Tyson was a doggy dog. So nobody would ask him to be a host for a beauty contest. That was a setup. The other setup was, how you gonna come to a man's hotel room who acts like a dog like that on that level, and think, what are you gonna do? Play checkers? I can't take it. Why where does your culpability, where is it that you become responsible? Is it that women have no sense of responsibility? We have none. You just allowed to act like you're a child, a wobbly, a Raggedy Ann doll. It's gonna show up because he said so. No, you don't go to a hotel room with a wolvenous dog. You don't. Not unless you're ready to get down doggy style. Okay? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Be responsible. I was so pissed that this happened to Mike. I cannot even tell you. I was so pissed. Some people said they wanted to put him in jail so they could experiment on him and test him. And, I don't know. But I know this was a shame thing. It made us all feel a certain way. Because of he was our hero. He was a physical specimen that we admired. Yeah, we knew he was kind of actually is pretty funny, and it has kind of a wit to him, but who knew? But anyway, Don King, I don't know if Don King set him up. Don King set him up by stealing all his money, but and think about it, that wouldn't be a Don King setup, because I don't know who, this is these white elite, wanting to daggone take away anyone who has any power in our community, and also wanting to make us take away our feeling of stability by removing them from our midst and making us feel shame. This is always, it weakens us. When every time they do that, it weakens us just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You know what's interesting around that time?
But Don King was a horrible traitor. You got it. That's for true. Hawkeye, huh?
You know what was interesting around that time when Mike Tyson was fighting?
Mm-hmm.
That the energy around the community was at a high.
Oh yeah.
You know, people. You know, everybody was it was like everybody tried to be their best because they were watching the best. You know.
Right. It was a strong time for us, and they sought to take that down. I mean, you're right. That was also during the time we had all those television shows.
Right.
We had a lot of things going on. People were going to college in large numbers, even though it was expensive. And it was getting more expensive every day. But we were still going. Next is a super trader. A super trader. Yay! Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey wins. No, I don't know. It's between her and the next one. But Oprah Winfrey definitely is a super trader. Oprah Winfrey, you know, started out her show with being just like Jerry Springer. People that are younger might not know that. Her show was ratchet. She used ratchet stories. She humiliated people in public. She used humiliation to get ratings. She embarrassed people on purpose. And that's how she got big. Y'all may not be aware of that. Oprah said, and this article says, Oprah says that materialistic U.S. kids don't deserve an education. Well, she really didn't say that, but this is what she really did say. But the talk show queen is ticked that people aren't appreciating her generosity. It says Americans would just waste a golden opportunity to get a good education at her expense. She said, I became so frustrated with visiting inner city schools in the U.S., she tells Newsweek. If you ask the kids what they want or need, they will say an iPod or some sneakers. In South Africa, they don't ask for money or toys. They ask for uniforms so they can go to school. But that didn't stop Oprah from including a yoga studio and a beautiful salon in the plush girls' school. See, how are you going to say that about your own people? A voice as powerful as yours, condemning your own people that they don't want education. They don't want a good education. Just putting us into a monolith. Oh, yeah. These indigenous people don't want no education. They just want sneakers and an iPod. Really? As many kids was struggling and trying to get dad going to go to school, go to a good school, needed a better school, needed a better advantage, needed some of them just needed a school that would actually challenge them, interest them, captivate them. But this is what this heifer said. This is a horrible, horrible heifer. And so many people worship her, idolize this traitor. They don't see her for what she is because they do a couple of nice things and the secret is that you have to manifest what you want. And they just, they buy into all that malarkey. She started in the mud. She slung mud to get where she is. She slung shit actually to get where she is. Oh, but you don't remember that. You just think, oh, she's so classy, so smart, so evil, such a traitor. And there we go. Super traitor, number 2. Now, some people we have debates about this guy, but I'm going to tell you, I'm already of the mindset that I really know that I really think he's a horrible guy, and I really think he deserved what he got. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to read it to you, okay? Because he said a whole lot of stuff. So, Bill and Bill, they helped to build the pipeline to prison, and look where his ass ended up. How you like that? This is from an article where he said, Bill Cosby holding up a mirror to the young black community. He says a lot of African Americans need to start taking advantage of opportunities and stop blaming white people for their problems. Cosby is being called the crank by some and hero by others. Well, let me read what he also read. It was too much for me to put up, and you couldn't read it anyway. But I'm gonna read it. It's long, okay? July 1st, 2004. You can leave it right there. July 1st, 2004, the Associated Press. Bill Cosby went off on another tirade against the black community Thursday, telling a room full of activists that too many black men are beating their wives while their children run around not knowing how to read or write. Cosby made headlines in May when he upbraided some poor blacks for their grammar and accused them of squandering opportunities the civil rights movement gave him. He shot back Thursday saying his detractors were trying in vain to hide the black community's dirty laundry. Let me tell you something. Your dirty laundry gets out of school at 2:30 every day. It's cursing and calling each other N-word while they're walking up and down the streets. Crowd, Cosby said in an appearance at the Rainbow Push Coalition. They think they're hip, the entertainer said. They can't read, they can't write, they're laughing and giggling and going nowhere. He also had harsh words for black men who don't have jobs and are angry about their lives. He made us into a monolith all the time, and he publicly shamed us. And I could not stand him. Stop beating your women. You got to stop beating up your women because you can't find a job, because you didn't want to get yourself an education, and now you're earning minimum wage. You should have thought more of yourself when you were in high school, when you had an opportunity. And then in May, he denounced some black grammar, and those who commit crimes and wind up behind bars, they are not political prisoners. I can't even talk the way these people talk. Why ain't you where you is? And I blame the kid until you hear the mother talk, Cosby said, and then you hear the father talk. Everybody knows it's important to speak English except these knuckleheads. You can't be a doctor with that kind of crap coming out of your mouth. His comments were interrupted several times by applause. He was castigated by some blacks, saying that they simply cannot blame whites for the problems such as teen pregnancy, high school dropout. You put it on a record there. Okay, so this is the thing. He would always do that. He would always get in front of these white gods, white pretend gods, white wannabe gods, white wannabe judges, and talk horrible things about our community, so-called his community. He ain't part of the community. He was not. Yeah, he put together some decent shows, bougie shows. That's what he did. But he was constantly doing that kind of stuff. And I don't know if anybody knows that he actually gave any money to improve the situation in South Philly, West Philly, North Philly. Did he? I haven't heard anything. I'm from New Jersey. I'm not from Philly, but I hadn't heard anything.
Well, I've heard hundreds of stories where he gave money to historically black colleges.
Oh, yeah. So in order for you to get the money, you got to go to the college. But guess what? That money goes to the president and all the daggone cheer people. So,
I mean, but doesn't that allow some people to get an education?
No, I don't know if it actually, I don't even know if that stuff, I don't even believe that stuff funnels down. I really don't. Not what I'm seeing with Hampton, not what I'm seeing with Morehouse. I believe that they give this money, and they get these big endowments, but you still don't get, but when you have a kid who's in there and is on the president's list, I mean on the dean's list, they don't get that money just like here. Okay, you're short of funds, here you go. I mean, it doesn't keep people in school. They don't do it. It doesn't work like that. So although they get all this money, it doesn't reach the students. Not like that.
So there's not a student out there that would say they.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that there's not a student out there, but I'm saying by and large, it doesn't. Yeah, there are people that'll say, I got a Camille so-and-so scholarship. Yeah, there are people that gotta say that. Of course. Especially Spelman. I think they brought a whole friggin' half of the day on campus or something. Spelman.
So isn't that something?
But everybody don't go to college, do they? And definitely everybody can't afford to go to Spelman.
Well, that's why.
You know how much Spelman is? Spelman's like going to Yale for a Negro.
Yeah, but he's helping somebody. That's all I'm saying. And I think when
they all do, it's a tax write-off.
Oh,
they all do. It's a tax damn write-off. Does it get a pass for that? I don't. Not in my mind, but you can give them a pass.
No,
but I don't because this is the thing. These public parades in front of these white people, it actually programmed a lot of us that witnessed it to think the same way. And it also made a lot of white people think that was okay. That we have to answer to them, or we have to report on our progress to them, or our whatever we're doing is a collective thing.
How is that doing that?
What?
How is that doing that?
How is that doing? I don't know what you mean. How is that doing that? What do you mean?
Excuse me. Any male, let me retort. Any male that's in America, that's father, grandfather, and knows what happened to us, it's their job to do their fucking best, whatever they do. To be assholes all the time, and then somebody come up and say, well, you shouldn't say that because that's all he know. Nah, hell no. Now, I'm not saying Bill Cosby the greatest dude, but he was telling the truth. And
he did it as a public.
May I finish, please?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it's like the brother said, he wasn't wrong, though. But that never gets, we never sit down and say, okay, what he's saying is right. How are we going to fix that? Or what are we going to do about that?
As much as he said it didn't help anything, though.
Huh?
He said it didn't change a damn thing.
You ain't, I'm just saying.
Didn't change a damn thing. But it actually made us look like I mean, this is the thing. The reality is there are ignorant ass white people who are doing the same damn thing in large numbers. Why do we have to have a public, display of our status in society?
Because it's on public display.
No, it's not.
You've seen social media, right?
Let me tell you something. So is white people's, but we're not making it a point of discussion,
because
or examination, or judgment.
But they're not our problem. We are.
No. He makes
our
problem.
Are they going to make sure we stay on the planet, or are we going to make sure?
He makes it a white shaming. That's the difference. He makes it into a public shaming. It's not the same thing.
I mean, I think we all know Bill Cosby is not in a position to shame nobody.
Not now, but that's what he spent a long time doing. And so when that happened to him, I was like, good enough for your ass. Whatever.
Bill Cosby,
whatever, pudding man. Pudding guy.
Bill Cosby been hanging out with Hugh
Where
Hefner for
is there,
years.
I hope there's a Bill Cosby YMCA and a Bill Cosby's Boys Club and a Bill Cosby's Girls Club and a Bill Cosby's Boy Scouts and Girls. Has he built all that shit? Has he created an infrastructure so that these people have a tutoring program or something after school to catch these kids instead of walking around talking in public and complaining? I don't buy that. Why are you going to give money to somebody that always got money? Why are you pouring money into Dagon Spellman when it really is a rich person's a boule school anyway? He could have used things. He could have created things that would have saved our kids. I don't give him no passes. He's a traitor. He counts as a traitor to me. He's not count as a traitor if you want to. He's a freaking traitor. He got what he, in my opinion, got what he daggone deserved. And he was doing all that shit because man had money back in the 50s and 60s. He had a TV show. He had money. He had done rituals and done all kinds of shit with the Playboy Mansion. He was doing all kinds of stuff from early on.
So do you think when these cats get in there, like you say, he was into that early on?
Yes.
Do you think they're let in knowing what their journey's going to be?
They let them know what this is all about.
Yeah. And
they know that they can pull their card at any time. And they pulled his card when he acted like he didn't have to worry about that. That's what worry about them. See, I guess he got to a certain age. He was like, I ain't got to think about it no more. No, nigga. First of all, you're still a nigga. You might not want to use the N word, but we do. And you're still one. And they let him know on no uncertain terms that he is what they say he is. They had a Rolodex of everything he did. They knew every time he had some girl that they had to give a check to or or get a plane over and take her away or give her an abortion. They know all the stories. They know who got a baby. They've been knowing it forever, but they keep your secrets as long as you step to the beat. They will keep your secrets, but you got to keep yourself right where they want. And that's what Will Smith is doing. He's trying to do. Him and his wife are doing what they want them to do. She ain't fucking no young boy. That young boy don't want her. They had to humiliate themselves. They had to put that out there. They do what they're told. He has to be a weak, crying man who's emasculated by the indigenous female because we're evil and we're mean and we don't know how to treat our man. Just like my cousin's wife said in that thing, she don't know how. She's never nice to him because we don't know how. That's why they want white women, because we're never nice to them. We're never nice. You see how all this is working? I don't know if this is making sense to people. This is making sense to y'all. But that's what they do. They create all that whole persona, and this is all on purpose. So now I'm walking around, and they're like, oh, they're mean to their man. No wonder they like white women. It's creating this whole thing. It's creating this whole energy, this whole judgment that we are under because we allow ourselves to be under it, because we give a fucking damn. But we really shouldn't give a damn. But if we know that it's fake, and we know that these people are traitors and they're acting out these parts to make us look a certain way, then we can empower ourselves. And then when you're at the job and they're saying, this is a bunch of bullshit. I don't give a crap about Will and Jada. Why do you? Diffuse that shit. Don't feed that. Who are the, exactly, who are, I don't know. Who are the pinkest? Jada. I don't know. Jada and her mama the crackhead. Why is he asking that question? Well, anyway, we should not, you can say who are the pickers. I don't even care about these people. But his name ain't Pickers, Smiths, the Smiths. Anyway, so Moving on. Where we at now? Bill, we're off of Bill. Bill, go sit down in the back of the house somewhere. Bill. What's that one? Oh, okay. Now, what am I talking about now? Who we talking about? Kobe? Kobe. Remember, now I'm not, an LA Lakers person or whatever, but a lot of guys, Kobe was the epitome of basketball. Like he was it. Like he was a perfection in playing or whatever next to Jordan. So when this rape case happened, it was chipping away at their hero, right? So again, we have these idols. They're killing them all off and destroying them. So we need to just realize we no one deserves to be out. We need to be our own idols. That's what we need to realize. We need to be our own idols. That's what we should be getting out of this. The God idol person is you. Love on you. That's what's important. Because Kobe, he deflated everybody. They used that shame thing was bad. I mean, that was heavy. And then they killed him, which is interesting. Or maybe they didn't. Well, either Kobe is dead and they used Kobe to shut everybody down before the pandemic. Like y'all, if you think about saying anything, you're going to end up like Kobe and his daughter, for real. And maybe they're really dead. Or maybe those guys are in some other planet with their friends. I don't know what really happened. It's very bizarre because you know what? The thing about helicopters, most people that have helicopters are not like, oh, shoot, I can't get it worked on until my next paycheck. Oh, shoot, I can't afford to get the dang oil changed. Better wait till my next check to fix the helicopter. I mean, usually people that have helicopters have a lot of money to keep them well maintained. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't understand that whole thing. Didn't make sense to me. And you don't hear about other helicopters just, crashing or doing whatever or falling. I don't even know what happened. But anyway, it was bizarre. So I don't know. But anyway, but you have to understand it. He's not a traitor, but he is someone that they use to cause us a lot of pain, to get to elicit emotions, to get that energy from us, right? Oh, okay. So we could skip that because we already talked about how Cosby likes to berate blacks for abuse and failure as parents. You know what he did? You know why I don't like that? Let me go back to the Cosby real quick, because this is the thing. I had good parents. I was a good parent. When he does that kind of stuff and it ends up on news, national news like that, it paints that picture for all of us. It paints that picture for all of us. All the great fathers and mothers, they're all in my family. He makes us all look like shit. Because when he says that, there's not a tag on us to identify us as one of the good ones. It's just a blanket statement. And that's what I see as the problem. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Oh no, it's like you said. You see how when they were showing the Will Smith and Jada Oscar slap, and all other people were talking about you and telling you what they think, and this is horrible and blah blah blah. They do the same thing on this Bill Cosby. So, like you say, it paints us as what he's saying, because those people are going to listen to Bill Cosby because Bill Cosby is richer than them. So he has a voice, and especially when he's putting it out for us, other people pick it up. And other people treat your children like what Bill Cosby say. Bill Cosby's one of them rich dudes, paid in full. So what you said, that's correct. I see that. I definitely see that.
Cool. All right. Now here is an unknown, or not very much well known, but not very much talked about. And only reason I put Arthur Ashe in was because I had, gone to a lecture where he was, and he actually has some really good phrases. One is listed here. Actually, that's a really good one. From what we get, we can make a living. From what we give, however, makes a life. And I think that's very nice. I hear he was very charitable. I don't know actually, I can't say exactly what he did, but I don't know. But anyway, I don't know everything about his business anyway. It's not my business. But anyway, but Arthur Ashe was like the kind, he was making kind of negative remarks about the Negro female, and I actually made a comment back to him publicly about it. I questioned him about why he was saying things like that, and so I was kind of disturbed about his public talking about us in that kind of connotation and having those negative connotations. So I mean, that's the thing. Is he a traitor? Not really, I guess. But he is. But these people are in very, small ways as they move through this world, damaging into our community, and we need to be aware of that. That's all I have to say. Know what these people are. Be discerning. See them for what they are. Oh, poor Kanye. Well, people were talking about his mega hat, and now all these Indians want to put on mega hats. All the Indians want to put on mega hats now because they saw what this mess Biden done, and shoot, everybody's trying to put on a red hat. But Kanye's severely damaged. He's severely messed up. But at the same time, I'm sick of the media putting his daggone emotions on Front Street. I know this is why he gets all the money he gets, and he gets all the fame he gets, and they have to pay these dues. But I mean, I'm over it. I'm over it. He's like he's dying a slow death in front of us. It's really kind of disturbing to watch, in my opinion. What do you think?
What's that shit in his mouth?
It looks like it.
What is that? I think we have to be real about a lot of these people.
A diamond front grill looks like.
A diamond front grill?
Be a diamond lowered grill.
You know what? Honestly, I think a lot of these people, they're just hung up in closets until they're needed. Because what do they do? What's their purpose?
They're hung up in closets till they need it.
I mean, really? I mean, what purpose do they serve? That Will and Jade and all that. All these people they show us, and we act like there's something greater than ourselves. What is that?
Right.
Clown to me.
Well, yeah, they use him to make us feel a certain kind of way, and but yeah, this is the thing. We can't we need to understand these people are paid to be doing the things they are, paid to somehow be a public representation of us, so that when they do things that are humiliating, we're supposed to feel a certain kind of way. We shouldn't. Don't allow it. Don't accept it, and recognize it when you see it. That's the thing. That's what I got to say about Kanye. Look at that. Look at Spike Lee. Spike Lee with his sorry little weak ass. Pushing the vax. Getting the vax on television. Vaccinate the block. Really? What were you telling me about the newscasters talking about the vaccine?
You know what? This picture just showed me loudly and clearly what you talking about. That's what I'm saying, man. These cats are used to control the masses, to control us. And so when people say they don't care about these people, I mean, it makes me feel good, because really, I wonder how he's thinking about that now.
Right.
You
Right.
know, you done told all these people to go do that, and now they're saying, well, we just not doing it no more.
Right. It's over, but people got side effects and problems from it. People died from it. My brother's dead. My brother's dead. He woke up dead. Horrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, vaccinate the block. I mean, you see him sitting here. Go back to him, because look at his eyes.
That's what I'm saying.
If you look in his eyes, if y'all can see his eyes, I mean, it just looks pitiful to me. Pitiful. You went on public television and let them inoculate you with some saline, and your real people went and got the real stuff stuck in them. That's sick, man.
That's cold-blooded, cuz.
That's sick. On the other hand, we have the next person. Now, Wendy, you might be aware of this. Y'all might know this. Wendy went on her show and said, I ain't getting no jab. She said, I don't care what Dr. Oz tried to talk me into it. I don't care who tries to tell me. I'm not getting it. And then she became insane. Then they said she had a drug problem. She was passing out. She's depressed. She's crazy. She can't handle her funds. They froze her accounts. She did not comply with the plan. This was if y'all think they try to put a mandate for us, their compliance with this agenda was mandated. All these people in the media had to at least say they was going to do it. Wendy didn't. Wendy was like, nah, I ain't getting that jab. No, I'm not doing it. I don't care. Dr. Oz tried to talk me into it. I'm not doing it.
So where are all those people now?
The people that tried to talk folks into it?
Yeah.
Sitting on stoops like Spike. They sitting on their collective stoops like Spike Lee. All right, y'all. Now, we know that these folks are the boule, hanging with Plecker, hanging with the elite world orders people, and they wanted to make everybody think they came from Africa. They wanted to keep certain people in darkness about our real identities as the landlords. These people knew we were the landlords, for sure. For sure. They were educators. These things could have, all our information about our history could have been recorded in books. The first Negro University was in 1837, Cheney Institute in Pennsylvania. We could have all kinds of records about our glorious days and who we were and legacies and lineages. But we had these traitors who had a brand new world order for us back in 1800s. And they wanted to hang with their their zaddies, with their white godlike zaddy friends. That's what it is. Same thing that's going on now was going on before. Everything is a cycle. What I want to happen is y'all to teach your young people, teach your family, so we don't keep going on this merry-go-round. Look at the white, look at the go back to the four. See, they was all in cahoots with these forefathers. They was all in love with these forefathers. Oh yeah, they loved them. Yes, our boule leaders of the 1900s and 1800s, they loved these forefathers.
You had some people naming their children after them.
Well, some of those names were our names. We just think that they're not, Yeah, so some of them are. We named after them, thinking that was an indigenous name. We didn't know better. I just tell you. So now we got all these people who actually are interconnected. Everybody we see, and like I was talking about Jeanette Dubois. She's probably related to W.E.D. Du Bois, but W.E.B. Du Bois. And you see how these people are interconnected. Bush is related to Obama. He's supposed to be related to Pocahontas. They got a white Pocahontas on there. They got a white daggone Lincoln. You know, he wasn't white. And, you know, we got all these people that Marilyn Monroe and just weird connected. Even Princess Di is on there. So a lot of these people that we see today are actually all in the same lineage with with older people who preceded them. It's all the same people over and over again. Essentially, we got the same people coming up against the same people all the time. You still dealing with the same daggone elite folks. It's just their descendant. That's why bloodlines are important. But what I don't get is that once we got to get together our own bloodlines, because we're royals and our royalty is not being counted. When they first got here, our royalty was the boss. We were bossing everything. We were in the courthouses. We were running this country as we should. So we need to go back to that time. And the time for us to go back to that time is now. Let's go down to the next one. You see, this New World Order thing is big. It controls everything. It controls the masses, the Constitution. It controls all the different departments of labor, agriculture, veterans affairs. It controls all the different human rights programs at universities, political action committees, think tanks, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, big oil, healthcare, other lobbies. It controls everything. The power elite.
Where do you think slapping the shit out of somebody at the Oscars? Where does that fall in there?
Oh, that's that bullshit at the bottom. I mean, you know, the thing about it is that's the media. You know, that's the media. So the media keeps the masses mesmerized. You know, it keeps us mesmerized because we let it keep us mesmerized. It keeps us controlled because we allow it to keep us controlled. What we need to do is detox ourselves from its power. And, you know, it may not be the people in this room, because the people in this room are, you know, kind of, they're superb. But, you know, you have relatives, friends, family that need you to talk to them. And, you know, you need to, you know, let them know that this stuff is toxic and it's doing things to you on many, many levels. Many, many levels that you don't quite understand what it's all doing. It's a lot.
See, here's media right here in the scheme of things. But when you look at all of these systems that they use to keep the system going, you know, and we're just always concentrated right here.
Right.
What about all these other ones? Where are we at there?
Well, for the masses are at the top. You saw the masses are at the top.
Right. Okay. I understand that. But so are we upholding the Constitution? Do we have courthouses? Are we running our own governments? Are we governing ourselves? Because obviously what's going on now ain't shit. I mean, so doesn't it fall upon the people for them to take it over themselves? And that's
absolutely. That's the whole idea. And that's why you need to talk to your families. And that's why you need to get yourselves organized. And that's why you need to form your own constitution. And that's why you need to get your own affidavits. And that's why you need to go ahead and get your enrollment forms. And that's why you need to go ahead and start looking to see what land is owed in your family, what heritage land there is, what grant land there is, what patent land there is. Yes, all that needs to happen, because you do that and then you can have everything going on.
Sorry. Right here, right?
Yes, fine.
Okay.
So I happen to look at this. This is like, they even have a pop-up that says, would you like to get a promo code for our new customers? Join the Illuminati. I don't even know what the heck. I got off that site real quick. I can't tell you how much it costs or what it does, child, what the benefits are, because I kind of got out of there. But I do have with me a book called Behold a Pale Horse. And it talks about, it's by Milton William Cooper. I forgot to put that in the slides, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Because I did have a picture of it that I could put in the slides. But and it talks about the Bible, and look, behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed him, and power was given unto them over the fourth of this earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with beasts of the earth. The Holy Bible, Book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8. Then on the next page, it has one basic truth can be used as a foundation for a mountain of lies. And if we dig down deep enough in the mountain of lies and bring out that truth to set it on top of the mountain of lies, the entire mountain of lies will crumble under the weight of that one truth. And there will be nothing more devastating to a structure of lies than the revelation of truth upon which the structure of lies was built. Because the shock waves of the revelation of truth reverberate and continue to reverberate throughout the earth for generations to follow, awakening even those people who had no desire to be awakened to the truth. Del Lamere do Varus. That's this thing here. That little triangle thing. That's that. Okay. So this is on a book that is written by, like I said, William Cooper, who he kind of uncovers all the different things, about the Illuminati, about FEMA. He talks about there's all kinds of bunkers that are like mansions and stuff. And also this truth11.com. Oh, they got that has a whole lot of information about, just like different kinds of places in the United States, what they're really hiding, stuff about, COVID and different things. I mean, it's got a lot of information. It's kind of twisted. I didn't want to twist everybody's head up today. I don't know, but I probably am anyway. I don't know what I'm doing, but we'll see. Hopefully not. Oh, where you at? Let's talk about 9/11 then. Because we have to understand that these people plan everything. The majority of things that happen on this planet, they plan it. Okay? Let's get that understanding. Let's get an overstanding of that. The majority of things that happen on this planet that's negative, they plan it. It's not nature. 9/11. What you think of that?
As soon as it happened, I knew it was a joke. You can see the buildings blowing up from the bottom as the building is coming down. And when I first saw that clip of them playing that over, I'm like, they're blowing the building up. And everybody like, oh, you crazy. They just went with the narrative. And that's what I'm saying. People don't even look with their own eyes. You could see it was a fake from the jump. And everybody just went with it. I lost a cute girlfriend on that one.
Because she was mad. She was mad that you said that she thought you were a horrible person that you said it was.
Yeah, she did.
It was blown up.
Yeah. I'm showing her. You don't see these bombs going off in the building? And you could clearly see it as clearly as day, but she didn't want to see it. So I was like, okay, people don't want to see stuff because I think they have to be responsible for it. They know they have to be responsible for something because that changed your life. That'll put a whole curveball in your life.
The other thing is people don't want to get their heads around the fact that the world is such a place that our government would actually destroy us on purpose. People can't handle that. They really can't get their head around it, and they just can't handle it. But the reality is they've done it repeatedly, and every time that there's a war, they willingly send your young boys and women out there to die, not their kids, but yours and ours.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't understand how we don't see that they would blow up something here because what it did was it gave them the reason to go to war, which they always are looking for. There probably was stuff they wanted to blow up in that building anyway. And in addition to that, it made them give them the right to lock down our rights. We can't fly and travel like we used to. So they got to they're going to impose restrictions on Americans. What they didn't do was impose restrictions on anybody else. So look, antlers, you can carry them on. I was like, I thought this was the strangest shit. And then like lighters, yeah, you can actually bring them but there's certain things you got to take the cover, latch. I'm like, so you can have a lighter and set things on fire? I don't understand these people. They crazy. It's like the rules don't make no sense. Can't have water, but you can have a lighter. Just gotta take this off and have this latch. And you can bring antlers so you can stab somebody in the chest. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand it, but I know that this stuff was used to clamp down our freedoms as citizens, or if you are a citizen. But it was to deny freedom to the people of this daggone country. I can tell you that much.
Well, this denied, and if that award show the other night didn't tell you how far people have come, well, I guess that show isn't looked at a lot no more, right?
Nobody watched it.
Right.
But now they're going to watch it because they put on that whole big show, so they want to see what dumb stuff they do next year. So this is going to improve their ratings next year. But the only thing is people have a short term. They got short memories, so they might not even think about it. Next year they might be like, oh, I forgot that I was going to watch that.
Right.
So it might not work. It's a whole year away. So this is the thing. A plane is what supposedly blew up these buildings, right? So-called these Taliban took flying lessons in Florida and taught themselves and got taught how to fly a plane and flew the plane into these buildings. That's a so-called story, right? Y'all see how easy it is to get a flying lesson? See how cheap it is? No restrictions on that shit. But I got to go take my damn shoes off and undo all my stuff and separate all my stuff, and nobody can come out there to the plane and see me take off because of this 9/11 shit. But you still let people learn to fly planes. In fact, they can do most of the training online. It's easier now. Make that make sense. If that's what caused the terrorist act, why is my freedom being daggone denied, but anybody can still come in here and learn how to fly a plane? I'm just saying. Things ain't matching up.
They're not congruent. They're not congruent.
Yeah. They're not congruent. All right, so we got Katrina. And you see us, oh my God, Indians make everything better.
Yeah.
They in the middle of a wasteland. Everything's flooded up to the treetops. And she's just looking like, oh, I'm with my boo on a cushion with that stuff in a garbage bag. He's standing in pure sewage. And they just all booed up, just as happy. See, that's why we see it's that's the awesome part of us, but that's why people walk over us because we're able to just roll with it and make it better. That's cool about us, but it's also like, damn, we don't stay mad. That's fucked up. Because if white people were going through this shit, they would not be repeating this cycle like this. Because they would get incensed. And I can tell you, they can't handle it like we could handle it. Look at this shit. Look at them. They just happy to be together with the garbage bag and the flotation and the sewage. And it stunk like death because it was dead bodies and dead animals all in there. And they just chilling because we're amazing people. We're happy-go-lucky to our detriment. What you got to say? What you got to say?
I mean, yeah, that's a cool shot, and it does let you know that, hey, when shit happens, all you can try to do is make the best of it. And that's one of the good things about us. And that's what a lot of people hate. These Ukrainians that's coming over here, see, you wouldn't see them like that over here. But they're here to replace those people. All of these people that's coming over here that you love and you crying and you want to lick them in the mouth and anywhere else, they're coming to replace you. That's why events like that go on, to remove the indigenous people out so they can bring people in. And I know all of y'all see that shit going on right now. So with these Ukrainians come, I mean, every day, this country is flooded every day with immigrants to replace you. And this is what they'll be replacing. Okay, who that? Your mic is muted.
You know these two gentlemen. This is from the DC Sniper. The DC Sniper Muhammad and Movo. The man had the young boy sitting in the trunk of the daggone Caprice with a daggone hole etched out of it, so the daggone rifle he could shoot people. And they were just going around the DC area, just sniping at people and killing people. They even shot at a 13-year-old boy and around his school. And my kids were there, and I was there at that time. That was 2002. So we had 9/11. We had the Pentagon first, and we were on alert because of the Pentagon, and I worked in a hospital, so we thought we were going to get, some traumas, but there was nobody surviving. That was a trauma. And then we had the DC Sniper, and my kids were being locked in the school. They were on lockdown because of the things that were happening, and then he ended up actually even shooting a kid. This kid survived. He shot him in the chest, and he ended up being a witness. But several people were killed. And one of the victims we got as a body that died at a Shell station. I think it was a lady or some man. It was a lady, and yeah, but they were from the islands or something, Haiti or the islands, I think. And we also sighed a big old sigh of relief, but I don't know how the people from the islands felt. They might have felt some kind of way, but as for me, I felt, oh, thank God, But that's the thing. Why do we care? We really care about these images of people, and this was a shame thing. Were they really snipers? He was a military guy. Was this a real thing? I mean, I know they really kill people, but was this a government action so that they could lock our kids in the school, and so they could put police in the school and create fear and the Negroes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this was a real thing because it was a stupid reason he had for doing it. Nothing made sense, right? None of this made sense, and none of it sounded like something any kind of melanated person would do. But I can't really judge whether it was real or government sanctioned or not. But I can tell you what that these things do impair our freedom, and it did change our lives. That's for sure.
Yeah. I was never really into this story. I never really paid attention because it was across country. But one of the things that a young lady asked me the other day is, well, how do you tell who's indigenous? And of course, I told her, check with your family. But, different people come from different places in the world. And by now, we should be familiar with the people we grew up around, our family and whatnot. And you can see this young man on the right. Who does he look like that you grew up with? You can tell he's from somewhere else. If you look at now trust me, half of you guys are gonna say, he looked just like my little brother. No, he don't. You should be able to recognize the people who you're around. And we have been kissing ass so long, we just take in everybody.
Right.
That's how all these immigrants are able to come over here and infiltrate you, because we just love everybody.
We do. Okay.
Let's go to the next.
Oh, yeah. So they started building brand new pharmacies in the hoods in around 2005 to 2015. Rite Aid, Walgreens, I put Crees, Walgreens and CVS, even 3 on 1 block in Decatur. And they put 3 on 1 block, not just one place in Decatur, but multiple places in South Decatur. They were preparing for the indigenous Oxycontin addiction. Oh, they was ready. They were ready way in advance, building brand. I was like, why would these companies even okay building all these pharmacies across the street from each other? How can they justify that as being a viable business? Oh, they knew. And I said, oh, they're gonna be the new drug dealer. I knew it. I was like, they're gonna be the new drug dealer. They got something playing. And I knew it, and they knew. So then we waited. I was waiting. I was waiting for it. Didn't nobody want no Oxycontin. They put out Oxycontin. Didn't know about it in the hood. Nobody cared for that shit. So, but the thing that they also did around that time was they trained the pharmacists to give inoculations, to give injections. Pharmacists never give injections. That's a nurse thing or a doctor thing. Pharmacists just count the pills and pour the liquids. They don't touch patients. Why were pharmacists being trained in 2009 or 2012 to touch patients, to give inoculations? For the flu shot? Why? Why to give the flu shot? Everybody who wants a flu shot is getting it. Why do you need more people giving out flu shots? They were getting ready for this pandemic. They were getting ready. They had pharmacists trained to give shots. And my family think I'm a daggone conspiracy theorist. I was alarmed when that happened in advance of this shit. Anyway, what ended up happening to these pharmacies? They ended up turning these pharmacies into daggone Dollar Trees. Because nobody was using Oxycontin. Now I started to look at the Oxycontin and Wikipedia. What happened with the Oxycontin? Y'all, are you aware that 100,000 people died from Oxycontin in 2020 to 2021? That means these white people could not handle COVID. They was overdosing like a mother sucker. In 12 months, 100,000 people died from opiate overdose. Are y'all hearing me? I didn't know that. Was it on the news? I don't watch the news.
Damn.
100,000 people in 12 months, y'all. It worked on the white folks like a motherfucker. That's what's supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen to us. See, the Facebook user said they got more CVSs and mobile than churches. See, they do that. They did that on purpose because they wanted to make sure you could get your daggone narcotic. They planned this stuff. Ain't nothing an accident. In advance, they built brand new buildings, invested money, only to turn these places into daggone Dollar Trees. And only for it to boomerang on their asses and kill 100,000 in a friggin' year. And nobody was talking about that shit. I just happened to see it on Wikipedia. It wasn't us. You better believe if it was us, they would have been talking all about it. It was meant for us. Family, that's what I want you to see. They do this stuff, planning stuff, setting it all up for us. This one hit them dead in their ass. Crazy, right? What you gotta say about that?
That's 8,000 a month. A little over 8,000 people a month.
That's crazy. Right?
So hey, got to reduce the population somehow.
Those aren't the ones they were targeting.
Oh no, I mean that's
why they got to get these Ukrainians in. Baby, guess what? These Ukrainians gonna come in here and get on that oxy too.
Yeah.
Because it's in their DNA. They gonna be in here getting on that oxy. Because the videos already talk about it. They know they gonna get on it. They gonna get on that oxy. They gonna be the worst addicts ever. Because they already got birth defects and shit from inbreeding and stuff. They got issues.
Right.
They're gonna come here and just fall apart. Cause all kinds of daggone shenanigans. Mistakes. Let the white people say all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You're about to find that shit out. They're about to find that shit out. Because what happens with people? They're gonna commit crime around their own people. So who's gonna get crime committed on them? White people. Because the Ukraine can go in their neighborhoods and just be like, blend in, unalarmed. So their crime levels in and white neighborhoods are going to skyrocket because they're welcoming these criminal types. They're about to catch hell. They're about to catch pure T hell, and they are, you know what? They deserve it. They deserve it. And these Ukrainians aren't going to adapt well to the warm climate they're in. Oh, what I didn't put in here, y'all, I forgot. I because I'm a nurse and, I have a master's as a, practitioner. They have, they give you job alerts. So they gave me a job alert, and I was going to post it on here, but I forgot to add that to this thing. They need nurse practitioners for the border protection. Of course, nurse practitioners are not protecting the border. We are supposed to provide health care for these immigrants. So evidently, the Ukraine are coming in through New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and California, because that's where they asked for me to work as a Border Patrol nurse practitioner. It's an infestation of It's an infestation on the opioids. Are the Negroes taking the opioids, R.L. Smith, or is it the white folks? Any two way, this opioid thing is it's going to be an issue for these Ukrainian people because they probably don't have access to the stuff in excess. So, see, we have access. This is what America has. America has access in excess. And a lot of people ain't ready for that, especially Caucasian people. Caucasian don't do well with excess and access, especially when they're not used to it. So it's going to be interesting to watch. We had Ebola. Ebola. Okay, so I had a hard time finding information about Ebola, y'all. And finally I found it. But I worked at Emory when Ebola happened and when they had the patients. And my friends worked and took care of the Ebola patients, and they worked with me. However, and I didn't want to work with the Ebola patients. I was like, well, I don't want to go around that stuff because I got grandbabies, got a new grandbaby. However, these people went right back to work working with me after they worked with the Ebola patients. So I might as well work with them because what the heck, they was working both with me and with the heart patients. So with the heart patients and with the Ebola patients. So anyway, so my point of this is that Ebola was a practice for the COVID, for the pandemic. They took those patients voluntarily to this hospital. The people that was really sick were aid workers. They were white. I think they found out Ebola was really, 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 really rough on the white people, whereas the Africans were recovering from it. And it wasn't really bad on the Negroes because we were the ones that were the nurses taking care of them. So Ebola was a practice. Ebola, they tracked the patients. They were like, yeah, the person over here. Now they're over here. They took a plane over here. But there was no tracking with this daggone fake demic. Okay. There was no tracking, which made no sense to me because if you know it's in China, then that's very trackable. You know where it started. But they never tracked it. The other thing that they never did with this pandemic, they never closed China. They never said it's shut down. Let's look at this one. Floyd. Okay. I really never paid much attention to it because I saw the little bit of the video and I thought it was fake. And I know a lot of people were like, you thought it was fake? You thought it was fake? Okay. Y'all see the tattoo on the chest? You know that he's a Mason. He's a 33rd degree Mason. And he looks crazy and really crazy and really hideous. And he don't look American either. I don't know where he's from. But anyway, I never believed it because the whole knee on the neck, he's a big dude. A smaller guy on his body, he could definitely wiggle away from, move away from. I don't understand how that would even be possible with a knee. It doesn't make any sense. I'm a whole nurse. I could tell you it doesn't make any daggone sense physiologically that a knee killed him. It doesn't make sense. It's inexact. When you choke someone, you use both your hands with all your might and you squeeze. A knee can't squeeze. A knee can't be exact. You can't even keep a steady pressure that way. I don't understand how that even would work. Okay? It never made sense to me, so I never believed it. Next. So at first I thought they were going to say that, maybe he was like, he lost consciousness or something, blah, blah, blah. There was like the pressure on his jugular, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have two jugulars, so that wouldn't work. You couldn't occlude both your jugulars, and those are the two major veins on either side of his neck. That would not you couldn't that would not be possible with a knee. But then I read the autopsy report said that he died of asphyxiation, which means that his airway was closed. Well, if you look at that center picture, that's your airway. Your tongue can block your airway. You can, he could push his pressure down and block his airway. But if you can't, if your airway's blocked, you can't talk. And he was talking, crying for his mama, saying all kinds of shit. Do we have that clip?
Which one?
The Floyd clip.
No.
Yeah, I sent it. You don't have it ready.
I can get it ready.
It's not that important. Y'all seen it. But basically he was talking the whole time. I can do it. Oh, no, leave me alone. I think I'm thirsty. I'm tired. No, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. No. And they're saying you're talking. And it's right. If you can talk, you can breathe. It doesn't make, and you cannot move words and not be able to move air. Air is made with words. You feel me? So why we look at these things and believe it, I have no fucking idea. But the whole world, but let me tell you something. I will tell you this. The whole world has been dumbed down on purpose. They dropped the standards in schools. They dropped the standards in medicine and in nursing. So people are dumb as shit. I get that. But still, mama, help me. I can't breathe. That is air. I can't breathe. You're breathing when you talk. You're breathing when you talk. Can we figure that out? Hello? Is there anybody home? Stop getting in your feelings about this. Use your brain, not your feelings. It makes no sense. The man got a daggone. Look at that. Look at his daggone. He's a Mason, a high-ranking Mason. Look at the tattoo. Order through chaos. He's telling you. He created chaos so they could create order. He is their pawn. He is one of them. They work together. The person that did that to him was his friend. The other person that was on standby was a friend. They all are in this order together. Then you got all of your feelings. The whole world's out in the streets. Oh, about this ugly man. Oh no, Floyd. Oh, Floyd. The man ain't dead. Hopefully he got face surgery because he needs to be better looking. He's not dead. Okay, so they keep doing things. What was that whole Floyd thing for? It was to get your emotions. I'm not done with Floyd, I don't think. It was to get your emotions up so that you could feel, it makes you feel desperate. It makes you feel helpless. That helplessness set you up for the pandemic. That sense of, oh my God, what are they doing? If they could do that to him, they could do it to me. That whole thing, that whole high anxiety. I'm helpless. He's helpless, therefore I'm helpless. That whole energy is what they wanted you to create. They wanted you to believe you are helpless when you should be believing you're invincible. They want you to believe you're helpless when you should know you're invincible. That's what the Floyd thing was about. Go back to the Floyd a little minute. Yeah. That's what it was about. It was to make you feel like, oh, they did that to him. They did it. And then they added injury to insult. They got away with it. Oh, they got away with it. Again. They're friends. It was acted out. You cannot talk and not breathe. It was fake. Trust me. I'm not a mean person. I'm just a nurse. And a long time nurse. He ain't dead. You can stay on him. They did this to make you feel that sense of desperation, loss, injury. The whole world felt it. It made the whole world weak. Weak. It made the whole world feel victimized. And it was the perfect setup for a pandemic. Perfect. So, next one. So there was a pandemic of 1918. So like I said, we keep going back in history. So our forefathers, our real forefathers, our real people, our families experienced the pandemic of 1918. In fact, I have an uncle that was born 1918, right? So in 1918, they wanted to kill us with a pandemic, and they put out this Spanish flu. But unfortunately, again, just like the what is it called? What was that drug I said? The was it codeine, or what is it called? I can't think of it now.
Oxycodone.
Oxycodone. Just like the oxycodone, it boomeranged on them. The pandemic of 1918 affected the young white kids more than anybody. They lost a whole lot of young white people. Not even the older white people, the young ones, the teens, the young people. And it was devastating to them. It did not really devastate us as a population, and that was the goal. So they failed then, just as they failed now. And if you look at some of these posters, the schools were closed, no church services, funeral ban is ordered, death, a ban on dances. They couldn't go out to dances, restrictions, just like they did. They just repeated the whole scenario of what they did in 1918. They did it to us in 2020. Very simple. They don't even have an original idea.
And so, when you see stuff like this, the same thing that went on in 1918, just remember as you going through life, they expect for you to forget things because people don't have they don't think about anything for too long. It's just on to the next thing. So what have they done in these last 100 years to get people in this state of frenzy to get where we are now? What is everything that went on for the past 100 years to get us to this point? You got to look at it like that, because that's the way they're bringing it. So 100 years from now, what's going to be happening? And we're going to have to be ready for stuff like that.
Well, no, I mean, actually, not even that. We could actually stop them from trying this stuff. The more light, like the passage I wrote, the more light you shine on it, they can't use it. So if you're like, look, I know what you're doing. This is a daggone ritual. I know you can make the weather change. I know you can make a hurricane happen. We know what you're doing. The more people who are not only alert and aware, but speak up, you can't use your magic trick if we know the magic. Period. And Sean Edie, the reason they want to provoke emotional response, they needed everybody to be emotional because they were putting this pandemic out to the world. So the whole world in France, they were all over the world. People were feeling something about Floyd. It had a global effect. And I don't think they anticipated that at all. But it was priceless because it made people in a vulnerable state. So then when you introduce a pandemic, you're already broke down. You're already broke down and you believe what you see. The pandemic of 1918, very similar. Look at the next one. Wearing masks, closing down things. They just repeated the script of their forefathers. That's all they did. That's all they did. Repeated the script. And then you see us today wearing bags over our faces, wearing diapers over our faces. And they set all this up because they had already dummied down the healthcare system. They had already, in advance of this, like in 2001, they started dropping the standards for nurses and dropping the standards for doctors. They dropped the standards way in advance, and they didn't require people to know a doggone thing. And that's why your loved ones died, because don't nobody know nothing. And they weren't trying to fix anybody. Next. They dropped these standards way before the pandemic hit. They didn't know what they were doing. Blind was leading the blind. And these people are still taking care of your folks. So that's why you got to be on guard. Now they're saying that you can train as a doctor with less than 5 years as a nurse. Just think about that, y'all. You can become a doctor in less than 5 years under the new proposals. You better start taking care of yourself. That's all I got to say. So this is the world that they put the pandemic in. Mass ignorance. You got a situation where the pharmacists know how to give inoculations, so they can give out the vax. They can sell the vax. And you got mass ignorance, worldwide ignorance. The perfect foundation for this pandemic. Perfect. And what are they doing? Giving it to the old lady in the nursing home, right? She getting the flu shot. Also in jail. How did the prisoners and nursing home patients end up with such high levels of this disease? If they're in a closed situation, they don't go out in the public. Yet you got all these prisoners getting the COVID and dying. You got all these nursing home patients. They were the biggest population that got hit. Well, my hypothesis, as I've said many times, is they inoculated those people with that Chinese virus, Chinese disease with the flu shot. All nursing home patients have to get a flu shot, and prisoners don't have a choice either. So they're dropping even the requirements for nurses even more. Like you don't have to. You can learn how to do it at from home. You don't have to have as much time at the bedside. You can have less hours. Clinical hours means actual bedside time, actual taking care of patients. So basically, you can just learn online and not really have to have many hours or any hours hardly, depending on what state is actually seeing people. So, like, you may not have ever touched the patient and be a whole nurse and then skip on and become a doctor in less than 4 years. And you know who's going to rush and do that? The immigrants. The immigrants.
And they'll probably be taking care of a lot of us, huh?
They will be taking care of solely us because they actually do not allow. You won't see these Nigerians or these Southeast Asians in white areas. They don't have. They don't allow them there. Like if you want to go to Dunwoody or up to Dagon, Johns Creek, you will see maybe one African in the whole freaking hospital. They won't allow them up there. Nope. You may see one or two Southeast Asian Hindustans. They don't allow them up there. They are all concentrated in our neighborhoods, treating us horribly. So now what? Because you know we always like to offer solutions. We don't just offer pollution and problems, okay? I suggest you get yourself somebody who can be your healthcare advocate or advisor. Somebody in your family may know some, be very educated, be very informed, healthcare provider. Maybe you need to hire one. That might be another option out to you. If you're having a child, me and myself and Carrie were discussing how dangerous it is. This is like a third world country to have babies, and the people that suffer the most are indigenous women. We die in maternal. Our maternal death rate is extremely horribly high. So, get a doula, a midwife, also like call a friend. Always have somebody be there with you with your appointments to be a second set of ears, eyes, and a mouth to speak for you when you can. Understand this, that most hardships on this planet are man made. They're man made. Nature is not against you. This planet is for your part. You are this planet. Yeah, we do need our own hospitals again. You're right. We need our own hospitals again. We used to have 200 at the turn of the century. Notice the details. Stop just believing everything you see. Look at things. Look at the details. Why didn't she even grab his arm? Why would he go from laughing to like, come on, laughing to I'm gonna go up there and punch and physically punch you? It wasn't anything worth a physical punch. Does it make sense? Does it match? Does it fit? It's not. Examine things. Use a critical eye like the indigenous one. Be like the indigenous one. Be the critical thinker. Don't just look at things and swallow it. Because understand that this nation that is invaded, is actually international nation. The United States is a corporation of immigrants. It's a corporation of immigrants. And they have a long history of going to places and using propaganda to tear things apart. Propaganda is the major tool of war and destruction.
And how they get you in it, they make you think you're an immigrant.
Oh, now that's what that California bill is going to be. You're going to have to declare yourself African to get that reparations, if that's even real. Because those are the terms they're using. African, those are the descriptors they're using. So you're an immigrant.
So you see how you always put yourself in a trick bag every time.
Every time.
Every time.
For shame, for shame.
Like Lisa was saying, these HBCUs are taking in Ukrainians. When you have all kind of people who live around these HBCUs, parents help build these universities, and immigrants are coming before your children, and you cool with it? Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to look at things with a very critical eye, like the indigenous one. You got to look at it, see if it makes sense, see if it's logical. But we also need to get more independent. First of all, I don't have on this list. We need to free ourselves from these gods, these white people as God in our minds, caring what they think. Why do you care? They are not your God. You are this planet. You are the soil. You're the trees, the dirt. I don't know what they are. They got some explaining to do, because I don't even know what they are, who they are, where they are from. And they're causing a lot of problems. They are not anything for us to worship. They're not anything for us to give our respect to. We need to start respecting ourselves again. We need to respect each other again. We need to value each other again. That's why I don't like Bill Cosby, because all while he's saying all these derogatory things, we were doing fly stuff. We always are doing fly stuff. We're always being great parents, raising people that win spelling bees and become great tennis players and become great mathematicians, and that we raise people that develop proton therapy for cancer. My God, we do great shit always, despite everything we go through. And that's why I don't like these traitors that bring us down. I don't like them, because we need to recognize how great we are and all the wonderful things we contribute all the time, despite all the stuff they do to destroy us. We need to get less dependent. If you don't know how to cook, you better learn. If you don't know how to bake, you need to learn. If you don't know how to sew, you need to learn. If you don't know how to garden, garden. If you don't know how to hunt, let's learn to hunt. If you don't know how to forage, forage. If you don't know how to fish, fish. Sterilize water. We need to be able to not be caught up with whatever they got coming our way, because we need to be able to roll to the left or slide to the right. We need to be able to do what we need to do no matter what. They can't stop us. We need to be unstoppable. Build a fire, make wine. Why did I say that? I don't know. Use natural products. Baking soda, apple cider can be used for everything. Clean your floors, clean your teeth, clean your booty, everything. Don't be helpless. And if you live in a city, get a network. And a network only has to be one person. It could be two people. But get a network of one or two people, and y'all can stock up on different items and trade. Y'all can try to develop skills of doing stuff in the city and trade skills. Somebody knows how to fix things. You know how to bake bread. Stock up on flour. You can't bake bread without flour or cornmeal. Get outside, like indigenous would say. Get outside. Get out from under the rooftops. Get out from underneath these buildings. Work outside. Bring your laptop outside. You know, try to increase your outside time. Take your lunch outside. You don't got to sit at your desk or a cafeteria or a restaurant. Sit outside on a bench or on the grass. Sit your butt on the grass and have your lunch. Have your coffee break outside. And shield yourself and your family from the satanic media. All this stuff that is trying to enter you, these kid shows with these cute little innocent girls who are going to turn into these evil satanic vixens. Shield yourself from that. They turn little Beyonce, cute little girl, into Beyonce, a little demonic Beyonce. They turn Chloe Bailey into little cute little kid show Chloe Bailey to a demonic Chloe Bailey on purpose. Shield yourself from these little subliminal messages, these little signs they be giving, like on these shows and stuff. They do stuff to your kids that you're not aware of, and your toddlers and your school agers. Really look at, you can't let the TV babysit them no more. You can't let the TV babysit them no more. You can't do it. You're putting them into the hands of a stranger who means to molest them and destroy them. You can't let the TV babysit them. You got to recognize the traitors in your midst. See them for who they are. People who aren't speaking on the truth are deceivers. The only person that's not indigenous that is talking about this Will Smith thing being a fraud is Kevin Gills. He's the only one. I got to give it to him on that. Because everybody else is like, yeah. They're playing with the Illuminati agenda. They are. And that makes them a traitor. And also these indigenous people who aren't saying anything, that's silence is compliance. Silence is compliance. And these indigenous people who look like they're African Nigerians with big titties and all this damn extra stuff that our beautiful Georgia peaches don't look like, they're Nigerian. They're Nigerian. They're not us. We know who we are. Do not be deceived by what looks attractive. You may want to look at that. I don't know. But I'm telling you that we become intoxicated by things that we shouldn't. And these people are trying to divert your attention because they know who we are, and they know that it's our time, and they know we are awakening, and they're just trying to divert you from your path. I'm done.
Well, that was a nice presentation. Recognizing the traitor is very, very simple, and it's what you just said. Notice when they speaking, you can't be talking about nothing that don't mean nothing, watching that don't mean nothing. Look at what's going around in this country now. Not only in this country, but around the world. Look how everybody is diverted over here. And most of the people over here don't say nothing. It's not a good look. So pay attention to what's coming over here. Pay attention to what these people are being said. Pay attention to these tricks that are being played on you, because they play them on you every time they open their mouth. And like Lisa said, I mean, how do we keep going for it? Every time. Every time. Think about how much energy we wasted on this little show that went on a couple of days ago. How much energy did we put into it? Other people use that energy as currency, and they use it against you. Keep these things in mind. Because this is what all these Boulay, Shines, all these cats do. All they trying to do is get next to Massa. That's what they do. So what they want is you gone so they can bring other people in, so they can really, you see, they trying to sexualize your children. A lot of these people coming from other countries, they cool with that. That's all they've been doing because they've been dirt poor. They making this normal now, especially on your children. Teaching your kids anything they want to teach them, and you say nothing. That's the African American. So pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what's being done and say something. Don't be quiet. What's this being quiet? All this stuff going on and we just don't have nothing to say?
Right. You can say, I don't want my children exposed to this pansexual agenda. Okay, that way you're not, I mean, just say pansexual. I'm not, you don't have to say alphabet people. That's fine. You don't want to say, I don't want my kids exposed to a pansexual agenda. I don't want my kids sexualized before their time. I want their innocence preserved for as long as possible.
Is pansexuals like Pan-Africans?
Yes, it's just as bad. It's everything that you don't want to be involved in being pushed upon you at once.
Right. Just take anything.
Just take anything and push that on a child's mind. I don't care. I know all about all that other stuff. It doesn't matter to me. And that's not what they care about. They want to be able to push this and say this in front of your children. That way they say, oh, they know all about it already. They want to rob their innocence so they can molest them. They're not innocent. They already know.
This is what other people are teaching your kids. And speaking of that, ain't that what Will Smith kids are into? Aren't they?
Everything.
So this is what I'm saying. All this joke stuff, this shit ain't funny.
Say no to the pansexuality. It's not okay.
It
The
ain't
indigenous people of America do not say okay. The American Indians do not say okay to the pansexuality. It's not cute. It's not part of what we expose our children to. And that is our culture. You see, that's what the power is in knowing who you are. That is our culture. And you can't tell me that it's okay for me and my culture.
It's just that. Well, Lisa, I wanted to say thank you for joining us tonight. That was a nice presentation.
Thank you.
And so this is how you recognize the traitors. That you see them every day, walking down your streets every day, making this corporation run the way it runs. And it normally runs off your blood. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you Friday night. You guys have a good day tomorrow. Peace.